I wrote Notes from the Tilted World because I had a lot of, I don't know, how should we say it, pent-up rage. We might want to use a negative word like that, about the way the world is viewed by Christians, how numb we all are now to the world, to the, even saying to the wonders of the world, even that's a phrase that can just bounce off of us because it sounds so very postcard, you know, very Grand Canyon. It's a wonder. We need to see it. It really is amazing, and it's amazing not in the seven wonders of the world sense, but in the microcosms. You know, the snowflakes, the bugs, all the little stuff is some of the most overwhelming stuff that there is in this world. So I was really bugged at how numb and apathetic Christians were. A lot of my friends were coming up through, you know, philosophy of religion programs, you know, graduate school, that kind of thing. The more educated they were, the more numb they were to what was actually going on. So that was a big motivation to try to really attack that numbness, to just sort of break the apathetic shell off a lot of intelligent Christians. You know, people who've read philosophers, people who've thought these thoughts and asked these questions about the nature of the world. Why are we here? What is evil? Why is there evil? That kind of thing. Those are not bad questions to ask, but everything else is ignored. You know, the nature of reality, the nature of God is ignored in exchange for a really heightened respect for secular thought, for philosophers, whom I think don't really merit any credence whatsoever. So I was trying to attack apathy, attack numbness of the, you know, intelligent American Christian in this world. My aim for Tilted World is to really take a shot at that numbness, and my aim for this DVD series is the same. To still go after that numbness. It's still there, it's still pervasive. This inability to actually see the world as living, breathing, moving, active, divine art in the current moment. I mean, that's just non-existent. And Tilted World goes after that goal, and hopefully the DVDs will aid in that same target, same task. Talking to young people, I think the single most important thing to say to any member of any generation, but especially the younger generation, who are so numbed with media, with, you know, their technology, their iPods, their phones, their televisions, and then school, what's this for, why am I studying, why am I even asking big questions? I mean, in the past, generations have been led astray by philosophers asking the big questions. Now we have generations that are too numb to even ask the questions. They can no longer be seduced by philosophers because they're just slack-jawed staring at a screen. I mean, honestly, the most important message is just open your eyes before you die. That's just open your eyes, wake up. And as I talk to younger kids, even if I'm talking about my novels and not Tilted World, that's one of the things I want to do, is try to open eyes, wake up. You know, what is photosynthesis? Scientists have named it for us, so we have a name, we can forget about it. But the process of living creatures being made out of the air by sunlight, like literally out of the air. This is made out of carbon dioxide, this huge oak tree, from sunshine and air. Realize that that's real. You know, the caterpillar butterfly thing is real. Tadpoles to frogs is real. It's right here. Wake up and see it. And that's a huge part of it. So some of it's wake up to the technology. I'll talk to little kids, younger kids, about an airplane. You know, I got into a giant steel bus and lifted off and literally flew through the sky to come talk to you. And I get in the plane and I yawn and I say, I hate flying, and I go to sleep. You know, we don't notice. We don't pay any kind of attention. So open your eyes. Once you open your eyes, there's so many things to see. And you start, you know, if you realize this is from a person, if any person that you knew was making these things, this stuff, this little earwig battle in your garden is going on, and it's intentional, somebody sculpted this, suddenly you'd want to pay a lot of attention to that earwig battle, but also to whomever it is that's doing this. You know, who is this person that actually creates this kind of thing? If I'm mowing my lawn and I'm pulling rocks out and there's, you know, ant colonies underneath it, who stuck that there? You know, who put that there and designed it and shaped it? And of course this rock that I pick up is from a volcano, has been made with lava, and I don't even begin to register the drama of that creation. You know, this is an exploding mountain that made this rock, which I'm irritated at in my backyard, which I lift and destroy an ant colony by doing so. And their apocalypse occurs because I moved this lava rock all while I'm bored on a Saturday morning. it's all about opening your eyes. Open your eyes and see as much as you possibly can, and realize the intentionality of it, the personality of it, and let it shape you. So young kids are so of the world in the sense that they're of media centers. They're of LA and New York. And they should be of the world, meaning of God's story, of this tale, of this play, and letting that shape them. The actual world, the real world, not our little media representations of it. Once you appreciate that, you can then use that as a lens to appreciate media. I've got no problem with media. But you don't just want to be suckled on that teat and expect your imagination and your soul to be well fed. Well, when it comes down to trying to actually get kids to truly open their eyes and see everything, that's something that I can't do. That's efficacious grace. I can say everything I want, and hopefully I can be a tool to help people open their eyes, but God's the one who opens eyes. So I can get in there with scotch tape and fingers and try to pry those eyelids open and keep them open. And sometimes I can be fairly successful by God's grace. So it's all a question of grace. If they're blind, I can't heal them. I'm not Christ. I can't do that. If they are already have had their eyes open and they're numb, like they've allowed themselves to atrophy, their souls are hollow and just malnourished, then I'll start with stories. It's always stories. I'll tell them the story of creation to the cross, and I'll tell it to them in a way that they've never heard it. Trying to use language and descriptions that are true, that are accurate, but they're not. Those words don't go where their calluses are. We've heard manger, we've heard Bethlehem, we've heard this story, but we haven't actually. We've grown calluses there. So as we hear the story as numb adolescents in America, we have grooves there. We have little protections. You try to get off of those calluses and talk about the infinite word. This is the actual creator God, the one who spoke this world, decides to be born completely vulnerable in a barn and then be placed in a trough for where the animals eat. This is if any of us made this up, it'd be blasphemy. But he's the one who did it. And we think all these holy thoughts and holy words about it, and we become lukewarm about it. And then you talk about the angels descending. This is stuff I talk about in the actual book. A choir of angels is sent to announce this thing, and so we think, oh, big holiness again. We have calluses there. They go out into the fields. They don't go to the kings. They don't go to the important people. They go to literally dumb animals and a few shepherds. A couple of shepherds, hundreds of dumb animals, and that's where they sing. That's where they announce. Then the level of the humility involved in the incarnation and Christmas and the cross is something that we don't realize. To us, it's a story. And I work to make it real. I work to try to make it strike people for the first time. They hear it in a way that they have not heard it, and so they don't have protections there. And I don't mean that they're literally trying to protect themselves from it. I mean that they just have worn over those nerve endings. They don't react. They don't realize the real nature of the story. So I can't read the open eyes. I can't open blind eyes, but I can work really hard to dodge calluses, to rip calluses off, and do my best to leave unbelievers sort of naked, shivering in the sunlight, and Christians, slapped. It's like dumping a bucket of cold water on them and slapping them around. Hopefully they'll be flushed and awake, really, really awake and suddenly paying attention. I call the book Notes from the Tilt-A-Whirl because, well, first, I like Dostoevsky, and he has Notes from Underground, his satire of particular philosophical beliefs in his time. I choose the Tilt-A-Whirl because I think it is the best metaphor for the world in which we actually live. This is a carnival. This place is nuts. It's just, the number of secrets in this world and weird things to discover and rides and possibilities is endless. But on top of that, we are on a ball, which is spinning and spinning. So we are traveling at insane speeds around the sun, and we're spinning in place, which is what the Tilt-A-Whirl does. So the actual ride, the Tilt-A-Whirl, is basically, as a metaphor, appears random. So the motion of the Tilt-A-Whirl appears random. You have an orbit, and they have a rise and fall, and you go around, these little cars spin, but as you move, so they can reverse direction, they can do any number of things, but they're spinning and spinning. So you've got little things spinning and moving in a circle. That's our solar system. But also, it appears to be random and isn't. So if you're on that ride, it can feel out of control. It can feel like you don't know what's going to happen next. Even though you're going in circles, you don't know what's going to happen next. And the same thing's true here. People honestly look around and are confused, and they don't know how this can be ordered. They don't understand how this could be ordered. It seems chaotic, but as soon as you back off and look, there's nothing chaotic about it. Perfect spheres lined up, moving around a perfect sphere, and doing so remarkably consistently. I mean, for no apparent reason. There's no good explanation for why we're doing what we're doing. It's clearly intentional, and yet it appears random. And the shape of the book imitates that. So things appear to be spinning, things appear to be coming out of left field at you. Some people think this is, stream of consciousness writing. It absolutely is not. It is as intentional as I can possibly make it in imitation of the ride we are all on together.